There is another very useful tool when you're creating a document, especially when you want to draw someone's attention to where particular information was sourced, where you found it, in other words. So what you can do is use footnotes and also endnotes. Now, to do that, we are on the Reference tab, so click on the Reference tab. You'll see here that beside Table of Contents is Insert a Footnote. Now I'm just going to choose an area where I'd like to enter one. So I'm going to say here that the quest for special travel. So I'm going to put my insertion point right after that, and I'm going to insert a footnote. And you'll notice here at the bottom of that page, that page where I actually put in the footnote, it actually puts a little number 1 with a line. So I'm going to type in, this is a footnote. Of course, we would put in even more information. In other words, fundamentally, I would tell you where the information actually came from and who the author was, what periodical it came from, or what book, and that information would now be available to you. So if I scroll back up here to the top where I put that footnote in, you'll see a little number 1. And if I look at the footnote at the bottom, it has a little number 1. So it's going to increment by 1. So 1, the next one will be 2, etc. And when I put my mouse over it, I can actually see what was put into the footnote. So this will help people to go and search more information about that subject. Hopefully you have some kind of a link, or you have some information that they can go and look it up or do research. Now there is another tool here, and that is to use endnotes. So I'm going to choose, let's see here, let's just choose billions. So I'm going to copy this just so that I have a copy of it. Hold on. Let's just grab that information. Fantastic, because I'm just going to paste it. But I'm going to put my mouse at the end of it. There's my insertion point. And I'm going to put in a endnote. So insert. Now this is going to use the letter I. And there it is, the letter I. And this is at the very end of the entire document. So this is not the end of the page. This is the end of the entire document. And I'm simply going to put in that information. Once again, what we're really doing here is we're making sure that at the very end of the document, there is some kind of information that will help the person find that data that we're actually alluding to or illustrating. So I'm just simply going to put in just a quickie here. Fantastic. So there's google.com. And if somebody wants more information, hopefully it was the website where the information actually came from, and they'd be able to research more about it. Of course, if I go all the way back up to the top of the document, I'm just going to scroll up here. There we go. You can see at the end of that statement, there is, and my mouse has changed to a little tiny rectangle, which is, it is looking at an endnote, and it's showing me exactly what I typed in at the end of the document. So here, the little I, and I put my mouse over it, I can see that for the endnote, which is at the very end of the document, or I can see the footnote at the end of the page. And up here, I have a number 1, and I put my mouse over it, I can see what that particular note is. Of course, we can always modify this too. Okay, now we can show these if we want to, or what we can do is use the drop down arrow, and we can choose where that information should be located. Now, should it be the end of the section? Should it be the end of the document? I think it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you are writing a book, you might want to have it at the end of the chapter. If you are writing an article, you might want to have it at the very end of the article. And of course, how you want to see that information. Should you use symbols? Well, what kind of symbol do you want to choose? And you get to decide what the format should be. And also any custom marks Symbols can be used for this, starting at the first one or starting at the 10th one. If you are working and, let's say, collaborating with other people, you may have to start off with number 10 or number 30 or 1000, whatever it is, but you can type that in here as well. And of course, do you want it to be continuous, or would you like to restart at every section? Again, it's something that you have to think about. And of course, where do you want to apply it to the entire document? Or, and again, we don't have any sections at this moment, but once we break it into sections, we would have that as an option as well. Hopefully that helps a little bit when it comes to creating endnotes and also creating footnotes.